morning, GPS family. How are you guys doing? Oh God, I get so comfortable to waking up in the morning with you guys, and I don't think I could live without doing it now. So here we are. We stuck with each other for life. Whichever way, we stuck with each other for life. So good morning. Let us know what's tapping to the news desk. Let's see what's there first. We need to know what is happening in and around, and let's come back in just a bit. Let's see what Kendall has for us.
Good morning. With the country facing a spike in homicides, the St. Lucia National Youth Council, the NYC, is repeating its strong stance against crime and is calling for a unified effort to tackle the problem. The increasing involvement of young people in gangs, which has spread to local schools and communities around the island, is a major concern for the NYC. The youth organization has appealed to members of the public to contribute to finding solutions.
Many youth feel marginalized and overlooked with limited opportunities and support systems. Economic hardship and the high cost of living further exacerbates their struggles, pushing some towards illegal activities to survive. The breakdown of family structures, often lacking male role models and support, contributes to the vulnerability of our youth. We call on all stakeholders to prioritize efforts to strengthen family units and provide the necessary support and guidance to our young people.
The National Youth Council has also suggested to the government that it engages all stakeholders in the education sector in the developing and implementing of urgent strategic measures to reverse the current situation.
We also urge the media to exercise responsibility for the content that they broadcast. The influence of media on shaping attitudes and behaviors cannot be underestimated. We also call on the churches and all other institutions and organizations to step forward and combine their efforts to fight this monster that has taken root in our society. To those involved in criminal activities, we remind you that every life matters. The consequences of your actions extend far beyond the immediate victim, impacting families and communities and tarnishing the image of our nation. We implore you to consider the consequences of your actions and seek constructive ways to address conflict and grievances.
The NYC's call comes a day after the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association raised concerns about the burden that the influx of trauma cases as a result of violent incidents is placing on the country's already stretched healthcare system. The green light has been given by the Development Control Authority, or DCA, for the construction of 5 apartment buildings at Casabah. Housing Minister Richard Frederick says construction will get underway as soon as financing is secured.
As I indicated previously, the government, in its discharge of its social responsibility to the citizens of this country, will not incorporate the price of the land. The price of the land will not be included in determining the sales price. We will strictly factor in what we spent administratively and for construction and pass on that benefit to the good people of this country. Each of the condos, like I said, 15 two-bedroom apartments, and we are hoping to commence construction pretty soon. Our Prime Minister has a very palatable way of putting it: when the resources become available.
Similar buildings are expected to be erected in other constituencies. At a Babonneau constituency meeting last week, plans for a multi-family housing complex at Babonneau Central were also revealed. The St. Lucia National Trust. The Trust hosted a very successful stakeholders meeting with the Events Company of St. Lucia, the ECSL, as part of preparations for the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 2024. The purpose of that meeting was to review and discuss the growth of the festival vis-a-vis the Pigeon Island National Landmarks carrying capacity and the legal and operational parameters guiding the management of the heritage landmark.
Last year's event was, however, not without its challenges. These challenges, if unresolved, may pose potentially serious legal, reputational, and other risks to us, the various jazz event stakeholders, as well as to our country. We each possess a vested interest in eliminating or, alternatively, mitigating against these risks to ensure that this year's jazz event is even more successful than last year's.
The National Trust underscored the importance of a collaborative, strategic and solutions-oriented approach by all stakeholders. This will help organizers of the event and the National Trust to strike a balance between the staging of a successful festival and a trust's ability to deliver its mandate to conserve, preserve and ensure the sustainable utilization of St. Lucia's heritage. The Mindophila Park in Castries, in Marcia to be more specific, has been confirmed as the venue for the opening night of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 2024. Tourism Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire made the disclosure at Monday's pre-cabinet media briefing.
Last time when we spoke, I indicated to you we had not yet decided where it will be, that we were in discussions as it relates to the venue being upgraded and being prepared for the ICC Cricket World Cup. And we wanted to make sure that it would be available, both in terms of the works having been finished and in terms of ensuring that, you know, the handover is within the contractual period. And I think I can confirm, because I saw a lot of speculation, persons making a lot of, as usual, baseless statements and whatnot. But the opening of Jazz is at the Mindophila Park, and Jazz will get off in a fine style, as we did last year.
The opening night for the 2024 St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival is set for April 30th and will feature Romain Virgo, TJ, Voice and St. Lucian All-Stars, setting the stage for what is expected to be an unforgettable musical experience. These are your top stories. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Kendall, as always, thank you so very much. We need to take a short break, titty bit, and we're coming back. Stay with us. What today is my independence. I'm sorry, I don't mean to impose, but yes, it's Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence today. So happy independence to my Grenadian counterparts both here and abroad. Happy 50. That being said, well, obviously we expect to do a little something, but there's this wonderful young lady, Tiffany Strawn, is a Grenadian, and with that big 50, everybody, you know, wanted to see how it is that they could have contributed, because this is huge for us. We take this to heart. And Tiffany did something quite different and amazing to represent the Independence 50, and you know, it was just an honor to catch up with her and find out about the nutmeg sweet. Let me tell you, you know, we the land of the nutmeg, respect the nutmeg. Here's Tiffany though. I am here with Tiffany Strawn, of course, fellow Grenadian. Oh God, you already know we're getting set for the big 50, and boy, you know, Grenadians, us is just part of who we are and in our blood. And certainly 50 is a big, it's really a milestone for any small island to be celebrating independence, and certainly it is with no surprise that a lot of Grenadians are going to go out on the limb to try to see how it is that they can make something, you know, or contribute something meaningful to that 50th celebration. So Tiffany here, boy, has gone ahead and did something absolutely amazing, and you would not believe is our very own Chayla here, who popped up on it and happened to see it and said, listen, this is amazing, you know, I think you would love this, and she forwarded this over to my side. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure, and happy 50.
Thank you, Maureen, and happy 50 to you too.
Thank you very much. All right, girl, we're here because certainly that little project you put down there. First, give us a little insight about yourself. You know, is that the kind of things that you're into? What do you do?
Yes, it is. So I'm an arranger and a producer, as well as a music business consultant. I was trained at Berklee College of Music. That's where I have my degree. And after Berklee, I moved back to Grenada. I resumed the studio that I had built during COVID, and I work on projects very similar to these. I'm not only limited to orchestral music, but to jazz and pop music as well, and I'm slowly bursting into the world of soca as well. In addition to that, I'm going to pursue even more studies, going to study entertainment law abroad so I can come back to Grenada and, you know, be an advocate not only for musicians, but for visual and performing artists and sports people.
Wow.
So that's me. Yes.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Now let's zero in on that piece that you've put together in commemoration for the 50th. Quite interesting. I'm trying to figure out, I think I know what's going on here, but can you break it down and speak to us about why it was necessary for you to, you know, how important this was to you to be able to make that contribution?
Well, Maureen, I'm a numbers person. So since like last year, I was like, oh, Grenada's turning 50 next year. And I was like, okay, I think I would want to do something musical for it, but I didn't know what. But then one day, you know, Fair Isle was just playing in my head because I always had music running in my head. And I was like, that would sound good as a waltz. How can I organize this? So my initial thing was to do a big old Fair Isle waltz. And then I heard Bond's Welcome to Spice Mass at Groovy Monarchs preliminaries up in Las Vegas, and I was like, oh, this is such a cool song. I like this. And I wanted to do something with it. So, you know, I just decided I want to do this big orchestral compilation of Grenadian music for their 50. So I went through, you know, a couple playlists, and I was like, you know, what's a patriotic song? Not necessarily the folk songs that we grew up with in school, but, you know, songs that give love to Grenada, like 473 and I Love My Grenada. So it's a wonderful blend of calypso, a wonderful blend of soca, and a wonderful blend of folk music that all belongs to Grenada and Grenadian writers, Grenadian artists, and Grenadian producers as well, which is super important. So I sat down, I wrote the arrangement, I played with some ideas, had a little back and forth, communicated with my fellow composer friends, and heard their feedback. And then through my Berkeley links, I got in touch with a remote orchestra out in Hungary, Budapest, Hungary, and we got it recorded out there. So we sat down at 11 a.m. our time and 5 p.m. their time, and we went and we recorded it, and it was really an amazing experience because I was sitting right here in the studio where I am, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is what Grenadian music could be, you know, the versatility of it all.
Yeah.
So it was really I wasn't prompted or commissioned by anyone to do it. This just came from the bottom of my heart to do something for the Big 50. I mean, this is a country I've been living in since I was 5 days old, you know? So, I mean, it was the one thing I could think of doing to honor my country turning 50.
Absolutely. It's beautiful, by the way. It's a brilliant body of execution, everything. You can tell this was something grounded and rooted straight from the heart. You know, there's no question in my mind there. What has been the receiving like, though, now that it's out there?
Oh, it's been beyond my wildest dreams, you know. When I released it, I was like, oh, only musicians are going to appreciate this. I was expecting 1, 2 likes, maybe 30 something likes. And next thing you know, everybody's been messaging me, even from the interview that I did with Sonics, you know, that's got so many likes on my personal Instagram page. And I mean, it's overwhelming. Everybody, you know, I went to lots of independence festivities over the weekend, and people who I know and some I don't know are coming up to me saying, good job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's crazy. And it's been involved in things too. Like, it was played at the ceremony unveiling the $50 bill last night. It was played at the Governor General's Gala on Saturday night. And that just brought so much warmth to my heart. And the reception has been absolutely amazing. And
Nutmeg sweet, I absolutely love it. Thank you, Tiff. Have an awesome one. Right, wonderful. Well, I hope you enjoyed. We're gonna making a lot of noise today. So if you see us making noise, just leave us alone for me, please. At times you might see the colors, red, green, and gold. But our second feature, since we're talking colors, the color purple. The color purple represents all cancer, World Cancer Day, and that we just concluded the observance of. As a matter of fact, St. Lucia, we had the first ever Relay for Life being done here, making us the third Caribbean country to adopt it as a representation of the World Cancer Day awareness. So we had a wonderful lady who is a survivor. She's also a member of the Pillars of Hope. She was recently the president also of the St. Lucia Cancer Society, and we thought it was necessary to, rope her in. Alison Chester is the name, to rope her in, to help to keep the awareness, but to also continue to, keep the conversation up as to what it is really happens for these people when they are going through this, and how it is that we, as a larger populace, can lend to where they are, and to also understand that if for some reason we happen to get there in some time as well, we know that there's persons that we can depend on. We just wrapped up World Cancer Day, the 4th of February. And I think a lot of people don't connect because everybody, when you hear cancer, most of us within this region, we gravitate towards the month of October. We pick October and everybody gets excited there. Which reason? We're not knocking that, but I think it's critical for us to dial back down a bit and realize that, there is so many different cancers that is out there that is affecting us. No longer just breast cancer. Breast cancer may be the prevalent one, but there is so many other cancers. You got your lungs, you've got prostate, you've got so many other cervical, so many other cancers. And the month of February is where, all of the cancers that affect us as a human populace is being recognized. This lady right here is a champion. She's a survivor. She's a Pillar of Hope rep. She's also recently concluded her stint as the president of the St. Lucia Cancer Society. Her name is Ms. Alison Chester. Now, Ms. Chester, first off, we want to say thank you. Because you are now here in the capacity helping us to create that awareness of so many of the other cancer that affects us. So I am happy that you answered the call. We are happy to have you with us this morning as well.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Now, let's talk a little bit about, I don't even know where to start with this, because we only have 5 minutes, so we had to try and concentrate this. Let's talk about you and, your whole journey within this realm, from being diagnosed to, what you did prior, what you did after, and the fact that you now have positioned yourself where you believe that you are able, not to believe, you have been doing that, helping so many other people deal with their own journey along that line. So let's talk about that.
Okay, well, before cancer, I used to just think, well, cancer, if somebody got cancer, I never take it to heart, but until it happened to me. And after diagnosis, I have been thinking that it's for a reason that I got cancer. And my thinking is I have to be positive. Whatever I do, I must be positive because that is going to help me. And I think it has, thinking everything positive. I didn't think it was a death sentence. My doctor, she kept asking me, do you understand what I just told you? When she diagnosed me. I said, yes, I understand, but I just want to know what's the next step.
Right.
And so the next step was chemotherapy, then surgery, then radiation. And now I'm here. I'm on hormonal therapy, which is a tablet I have to take for 10 years. I have concluded 5.
Wow. Okay.
But it wreaks havoc with my body because the cancer was positive for sugar. And so it was feeding any sugar in my body. It was feeding off of it.
Wow.
So the tablet prevents the body from building too much estrogen. So there's a lot of pain with that.
Wow,
So
it takes a lot out on you.
Right. So I'm always in pain, but I'm not complaining because if I didn't get pain, I'm dead.
Yes.
I'm alive, so I'm no complaining.
Wow, city approach.
Yes.
You have gone on now. You're a part of the Pillar of Hope. What happens there, and what are some of the things that you guys channel through?
Okay. Pillars of Hope is a cancer survivor group, support group. We support each other. We have fun together because we do sip and paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every year we do sip and paint. We go on different lines together. Sometimes we have dinner together or lunch, but we spend a lot of time every month we have a meeting, and we try to plan activities that we can meet and not only know each other on WhatsApp, but we get to know each other and our families, you know.
What is different and vital from having a body like Pillars of Hope? Because there are other bodies, there are other things. But
Yeah.
what makes Pillars of Hope different?
Because it is really what it says, Pillars of Hope. We all exude hope. We all, any new member that comes in, we make sure that they know that there is hope. There is always life after cancer. So we need people, even though they're down, we do things and we talk to them so that, you know.
There's a whole
You know.
different conversation,
Yes,
a whole different
than what we would have.
What
yes.
we would have if for persons who are not
Not
affected, who
right.
don't know what it feels like, to persons who are actually who have
in
lived
it,
it,
right.
who are in it.
Yeah, because I mean, people can tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear you have cancer," but you cannot, as a survivor, we cannot tell you how we're feeling, what we're going through, you know, because we have a lot of emotional things happening with us, certain pains that we feel that when we try to explain it, people can't really understand
Can't
what
relate.
we're talking about. But if you were there and you've been through it, then we speak the
You're
same
able to
language.
relate.
Yeah.
Right. Finally, speak to your prospect on life, having been through.
For me, positive, everything positive. I tend to shy away from negative people and negative things. I always look towards positivity because I feel that God has blessed me with life and it is abundant, even though I went through a trial and I feel I went through that trial for a purpose. And I think my purpose in life is to help others to go through whatever cancer they're going through. I'm available to help, and I look forward to being out there helping people. I might not be able to help financially, but I think just being there as a listener, a support, a comforter, yeah, I look
Well,
positive.
we
to life.
appreciate you, and you're a trooper.
Yeah.
Keep the strength, keep the positivity up, and thank you for sharing with us this
Yes.
morning.
Thank
Certainly,
you. Thanks
hopefully
for having
somebody
me.
is blessed.
Yes,
Yes.
I hope so.
Let me tell you. All right, the final feature now. St. Lucia and Kabwe, you know the little boat buses thing that you'll normally make. We find them around Creole time. Well, guess what? Camdo, the Ministry of Education, has a competition that they have now introduced to the school at the school levels, and I think that is absolutely brilliant. So here's Esther to talk to us about it. Esther Matthew. Here at the Camdo office, and boy, we are excited to be here because I see this little thing pop up a little and I said, oh my God, I zoom in there. Right here I zoom in and I saved it because I needed to call the number. I didn't need to see anything else. Once I browsed past this spot here, for those of you watching, once I browsed past this spot here, I say, oh my, and I zeroed in here and I say, I need to call this number because this is a remarkable initiative.
Yes.
I'm here with Esther Matthew.
Hello.
Esther, how are you?
I'm okay, Maureen. I'm doing
We're
well.
trying to pin it down because Esther is a busy woman. A lot is happening here, but I'm happy that she was able to get the time to be with us. Let's talk about this. The Kabwe, am I saying it right? You have to guide me, you know.
Correct.
Kabwe competition.
Yes.
Right, but this time you've taken it into the schools.
That's right.
And I think this is brilliant. Now, I hope the schools are answering this call, eh? I just hope all you're taking this because this is serious thing, you know. Listen.
And you know the seriousness of this. We had this grown gentleman who would be explaining, giving us a little tutorial on Kabwe, but then he suffered a stroke.
Uh-oh.
But then the thing is, after that, we got a younger man, a Form 3 student in a school down south.
Real?
And he gave us the entire listing of how to create the Kabwe. Wow. You will get that later.
I'm interested. Listen, I am very, very, very indebted into this because I think this is a vital part of ensuring that our culture continues to remain, ensure that the young people connect with what it is that is eccentric and is uniquely them.
That's
you
right.
know, because this is important. There's only one Lucia. There's only one Lucian. When I say one Lucian, you know what that means. I can be as Grenadian as one. I cannot be you. You understand? And little things like that is things that you gravitate towards and you grab it and you hold it close because
Yes.
these are things that makes stand out when it comes to why am I proud to be a Lucian? What are some of the things that we could band onto us that we know somebody else can say, well, take ownership
Correct,
of? You
correct.
understand? So this is the things. Now, how does the competition works? You're doing it both secondary and primary.
Secondary and primary students are allowed to enter,
Right.
and they need to link with one or some persons from their community who know something about the Kabwe. So we want to enhance that kind of
To enhance.
community, that community relationship,
Spirit.
how it used to be before, because you know what's happening in our country right now.
Yes.
And I think that connection needs to be made.
Wow, what it is very well thought of.
Yes.
What has been the response? Now let's be real with the thing now. You've had this out for how long now? That you've put out
Wow.
this
Well,
for-
the idea first came out last year
Mm-hmm.
for Jeune Creole.
Right.
But we didn't have enough time, and so we decided let's execute it
In Independence, why not?
during Independence.
Yes.
And so it's been out for a couple of weeks now.
Right.
You
What has
know?
been the response like? How is the schools embracing it?
Not very well because of sports. And that has always been the challenge when you have sports season and you have other things coming up and there is all this distraction happening. But the good thing about this exposition is that the students are allowed to make it at home and video their process. And so it doesn't clash with what they were doing at school.
Yeah, but to me, it's all part and parcel of the thing, eh? Well, that's me being me, sorry.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, sports shouldn't take away from it. That's how I see it. You
Okay.
understand? I mean, it should be incorporated in, to me, that's a sporting activity.
It
to,
is.
To,
It
you know, to-
actually is because one part of the competition or the exposition is you are required to
To
race.
race.
That's right.
Listen, come, let me stop making for excuse to this thing. This thing ties into each other. All right, so when does the competition ends? What are some of the perks that goes with okay, so you're
listen,
encouraging me to take part.
We have a number of prizes. We have first category. We have best modern Kabwe. You can get a cell phone and a plaque. And you also get Splash, a day at
Yes,
Splash
oh, the
from
Water
Bay
Worlds.
Gardens.
Oh, nice.
There is first place, second place, third place for if you make a Kabwe and you're a girl.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
Watch
the
it.
girls, sometimes the girls, are excluded.
it,
But so you get cell phones, you get those earplugs, you get those little things. What do you call
The
those
buds,
little
yeah, the
buds?
little
All
earbuds,
these
yeah,
things.
the pods.
I think there is also a financial prize, and
Wow.
there's a lot of prizes to be won. You get digital handset.
There's a lot of things
there
there.
are
Yeah, I
a
mean, that's
lot
it.
of
So how do they
prizes.
sign up now? Can they sign up? It must be through the schools?
Through the schools. You must sign up through the schools. We're supposed to have a contact person in each school
Right.
who would sign up, help the students sign up, and then we get their registration forms online,
Right.
and then we do our fair share.
When
of
is the
work.
cutoff point for signing up? Registration ends when?
There's actually, and the good thing about it, there's no end date for registration. Once the February 16th come, you come and you present your cabinet.
All right. So guys, listen, through the schools, find out who is in your school
Yes, sir.
that's got this going on. I like the yes, sir. That comes down the proper Lucian right there for us. This is independence. Right. Find out who it is, get on board. There's a lot of children that are good with their hands.
Yes,
and,
yes,
They
yes.
just need to get involved and get this. You know
Now-
how creative, how nice it is to be creative and see you put a modern twist onto it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
listen, I will
So,
have so much fun with this. You're
remote
sure we can take
control
part?
and- if you-
Like just take part.
Yeah, you could just take part
Not
because they want
competition,
us to
just
take
give it,
part.
just- yeah, just
I'm
build
supposed to be
something.
making one myself. I don't know how to do
Listen,
that.
watch all yourself. I go
Yeah, man.
do something. I will do so. If I sit down there and do so, watch me put a
Yeah.
little thing there together and I put my little brat, or what you call it? What is the pink thing? Barbie. I put my
Barbie.
little Barbie on the side of that, bam, and we good to go. Listen,
Yeah,
guys,
man.
this is something that I
Yes.
think you should answer the call to
They
this.
can add lights, color, to everything,
Everything.
remote control,
You could be
everything.
so-
You can do that, yeah, man.
So much life that could come into that. Listen, I'm getting excited just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Find out who has got this, under which purview that falls in your
Mm-hmm.
school, and get on board. And let's see what you come up with. Well, that is the end of our features for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you in some way or the other. But guess what? It's not an end. We'll be back again tomorrow, right here. We have 3 features again. So I look forward to seeing you. Have an awesome day.